Everyone, welcome back to my channel. In our previous video of Power Apps for Beginner series, we have created a pop-up to prevent the unwanted deletion of a record. And in the previous video, I had explained something called variable, which we have used to make the pop-up visible or not visible. So we'll understand that what exactly is variable and why we are using it, how we can create a variable and use it in the Power App. So, we'll explain everything in simplest possible way using real life example. So let's get started. So you can think of a variable like a small storage box. For example, imagine you have a fruit basket. So inside that basket, you can store apples today, and tomorrow you can store banana. So that basket remain the same, right? But the value inside it can change. So similarly, a variable store a value temporarily, like while we running the app. So it is not stored on cloud or anywhere. It is stored inside the app, and when we are using the app, it create a variable and it store the value inside the variable. That's how it works. So in Power App, there are different types of variable. Okay, let's start with the global variable. And to explain this concept, I am using the previous app which we have developed, and have selected checklist screen. uh, Go to the property. Here there is an option on visible property. Let's expand the formula bar. So on visible property is basically means that whenever this screen will load or will be visible, this code will run. The part of the code we are going to write it in this section, it is going to run. So let's understand global variable. So how do we set a global variable? With set. So set is basically a function in Power App that we use to create a variable. And if you see here, it is asking for variable. That means we have to give a variable name. So let's call it username. And here we have to specify the value, like what exactly we want to store in the variable. Now, if you just select this part of the code, currently it is showing blank. If you see, username is equal to blank. Let's try navigating from one to different screen. So after navigating from one to another screen, if you see now the variable value has been changed from blank to the value which we have stored here. Now let's see where we can use it. So for example, I want to add a text box here, okay, which will show like the user detail. So if I have logged into the app, it will show my name. So let's copy this username, and we will be inserting a text label. Here I am going to pass the variable instead of this text. So do you see that? So now it is highlighting my name. But this does not mean that if anyone else will log in to this app, this is going to be Nibha Kumari as itself. It is not going to change because I have stored Nibha into the variable. So what if you somebody else is logged in? So for that, what we can do? So instead of storing my name, I can store something called dot full name. User dot full name means that whoever has logged into the Power App, it will take that username or full name from the system. So currently, if you see username, it's showing as uh, Nibha Kumari. Username dot full name is Nibha Kumari. So let's try navigating from one to another screen and let's see if it is working or not. Click on username, and if you see here, it is showing exactly the same. So this is how we create a global variable and use it inside the app. So in my previous video, I have explained a concept of a pop-up, and we have created a pop-up to avoid unwanted removal of the record. So I have used variable to make it visible and not visible to the user. So let's understand how we did that. So I have created a variable on select of the remove button. So whenever I click on remove button, it will create a variable and set it as true. Now I have created this pop-up control, grouped it all together, and set the visibility of this pop-up to the variable. So whenever I click on this button, this variable will become true. So the visibility of this pop-up will be true. And to make the pop-up false, I have created the same variable, but I have set it as false. So whenever I click on the close button, it will set as false and the pop-up will be invisible to you again. Now let's understand with one more example. So in my previous video, I was removing this record with this remove button, and I was using this item value for removal. But as this pop-up is outside this gallery control, it is not it is not going to understand what exactly this item means. This is our gallery, right? This is our gallery and this is outside the gallery. So how we make this button understand what item we want to delete? So on click of this button, first thing I did was to make the pop variable true, and along with I have created one more variable and called it current item. And then at the same time I have passed this item as a current item. So now this item will be stored in variable called current item. I'll go to the onSelect property and remove current item from our data source. So I hope you understand the concept. Now let's understand the concept of another variable called local variable. So local variable, or it is also called as context variable. So it works only on the screen, and they are useful when you want to control the UI elements within a single screen. So if you have created one variable and you don't want to use it uh, and pass it to the other screen, you can create here and use it inside this screen only. To create a local or a context variable, we use update context, and inside this braces we pass variable name. Let's call it user email and colon followed by our value. So let's call it user.email. Fine. Now we will use this variable and let's see how this exactly it is going to work. So let's add this here itself. So instead of using this, I'll add my user email. Currently it is showing blank because to create that variable, I have to move from one to another screen. Now let's see. Now this is showing my email address. So this is how you create a context variable. And let's try using this variable into another screen. Okay. Go to another screen, insert a label. Let's pass that variable. See, it's giving me error that this username does not exist or cannot recognize because this is a context variable and we cannot use it outside the screen. So in this video, we spoke about a global variable and a context variable. So give you a simple comparison. A global variable is created using set method and it work across the screens. On other hand, context variable is created using update context method and it works only on current screen. So now you understand how variable work in Power App, and in our upcoming videos we'll use variables in even more advanced UI scenarios to make our app more smarter. So that was all about this video. If you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.